What comes to your mind when you see the emblem of a black prancing horse on a yellow background? Your mind automatically flashes the image of a sparkling and glossy red Ferrari, right? Ferrari is one of the most popular luxury car brands. People who want to let others know about their hefty millions often own them and drive them on the roads. What do you think is the net worth of the luxury car manufacturing company Ferrari? Take a wild guess. The popular car manufacturing company has a whopping net worth of over $50 billion. Yes, folks, you heard that right. $50 whopping billion. But was Ferrari always this success, or did its founder Enzo Ferrari struggle to grow his company? All these questions will be answered in our today's video. Hello guys, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we will walk you through the story of one of the most popular car manufacturing companies, Ferrari. We will also discuss how its founder Enzo created and built the company, what challenges he faced, and the major reasons behind his success. So let's get started with today's video without further ado. But before that, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest upload. What is Ferrari? Ferrari is one of the luxurious and iconic red-colored sports cars. It has become a symbol of status and luxury. The Italian car brand is based in Maranello, Italy, and was founded by Enzo Ferrari in 1939. The company manufactured its first car in 1940. However, the company launched its first iconic Ferrari badged car in 1947. So how did Enzo perceive the idea of creating iconic red racing cars? Was he a wealthy heir or incredibly lucky to become the founder of a world-famous car manufacturing company? Let's take a look at Ferrari founder Enzo Ferrari's childhood. Enzo Ferrari's childhood. Enzo was the second son of Alfredo Ferrari and Aldegisa Besbini, born on the 18th of February 1898. Due to the blizzard, Mr. Alfredo had to register Enzo's birth after 2 days. Enzo's parents were not rich. They were modest people who lived in the house, which was also their workshop. So one thing is clear at this point, Enzo did not have generational wealth. Ferrari was built from his blood, sweat, and passion for racing cars. Enzo was a racing car enthusiast since his childhood. His father once took him to watch the race, and since that day, he developed a blazing passion for racing cars. At that time, Enzo was just 10 years old, and just like any normal kid, Enzo had different ideas about what he wanted to become in future. Apart from his passion for the sports car, Enzo also wanted to become an opera singer. Unfortunately, he soon had to give up his dream because of the demise of his father and elder brother due to the outbreak of the Spanish flu. He became the sole breadwinner of the family and had to quit school to support his mother. He was employed as an instructor for Badena's fire service workshop. After that, in 1917, young Enzo joined the Italian army. His job was to shoo away mules for the 3rd Alpine Artillery Division. During that time, he also battled with flu, which was a major epidemic of that time. After discharging from Army, Enzo wanted to work in his dream company, Fiat. However, the universe had better plans for him, so his application was rejected. Hence, he started looking for work elsewhere and finally landed a job as a tester in a torpedo company, which was small and no match for Fiat. The beginning of his dream career. In 1919, things started to work for Enzo to push him towards his dream and love for the sports car. He moved to Milan and worked as a test driver at Costruzioni Macchianti Nazionali. One day, he found the opportunity to compete against the company he was working in. He made his debut in 1919 at Parma Poggio de Berso the hill climb race. He secured 4th place in his division. In the following year, i.e. 1920, he left Costruzioni Nazionali and joined Alfa Romeo. In 1923, Ferrari won Circuito del Savio and met the parents at Francesco Baracca, who was the World War I flying ace. The parents suggested Enzo use the emblem their son used on his plane for good luck. The emblem was a prancing horse, the current trademark of the renowned brand Ferrari. In the same year, Enzo Ferrari wedded Domenica Garello. Despite being a passionate racing driver, Enzo opposed the idea of damaging the engine and pushing its limits to cross the finish line. Enzo won many races and earned honorable laurels from the country for his excellent achievements. And then came an important twist in Enzo's life. In 1929, he took one step ahead towards his dream of building a sports car. Enzo built his team of drivers and engineers for Scuderia Ferrari. The word Scuderia means stable. The name Scuderia Ferrari was a perfect fit for the emblem. Scuderia Ferrari's team was mostly comprised of Alfa Romeos and quickly became the automaker's official racing arm. In 1931, Enzo competed in his final race, and in the following year, he became the father of Dino Ferrari. In 1937, Enzo had to close Scuderia despite scoring huge victories with his cars at the German Grand Prix 1935. The major reason behind closing Scuderia was Alfa Romeo's reclamation of his racing division. Enzo parted ways with the company in 1939. Scuderia Ferrari came to an end for Enzo Ferrari, but that was not the only worst part about it. Enzo was bound with a stipulation that he would not associate the name Ferrari with racing cars for the following 4 years. But Enzo did not give up on his dream. Sure, times were hard, but he was adamant about facing adversity to reach even closer to his dreams. The launch of the first official Ferrari. After bidding farewell to Alfa Romeo, Ferrari took a big step to realize his dreams. He established Auto Avio Costruzzi in Modena and wanted to develop his own racing cars. However, the Italian government intervened due to World War II. Enzo moved his factory to nearby Maranello, where the team focused on making grinding machines. Then came a major breakthrough in Enzo's life in the year 1947. When the war ended, Ferrari seized the opportunity and started designing cars again. In March 1947, Enzo took the first official Ferrari for a test drive. The luxury sports car secured its first win that year at the Rome Grand Prix. After that, it became unstoppable for Ferrari. It secured many victories and earned honorable laurels. Some of the most renowned victories include Mille Miglia 1948, Le Mans 1949, and the British Grand Prix in 1951. In 1952 and 1953, Alberto Ascari, Ferrari's driver, won the World Racing Championship. During this time, the company also started making cars for road use, and it aroused the temptation of popular and rich people to buy the car and let the world know of their status. The era of the 1950s was pouring success and profits for Ferrari. They won many accolades in world championships, becoming successful in the automotive industry. The most noteworthy event for Ferrari in the 1950s was winning 3 World Sports Car Championship titles with its latest launch of the Ferrari 250 Testarossa. The company and its founder were gaining immense popularity throughout Europe. The sales were booming, profits were sky high, the shining red cars had become a sign of luxury, and the rich longed to buy them. Enzo was living his dream. He had successfully designed the sports car and made people fall in love with his dazzling creation. However, things took a negative turn in 1956. The rise of the downfall of Ferrari. In 1956, things took a bitter turn for Enzo Ferrari. His first son, Alfredo, nicknamed Dino, died at 24. Dino was an automotive engineer. He died because of muscular deterioration. Dino's death shook Enzo and weakened him. Before Dino's death, he was building a V6 engine to be installed in his son Dino's sports car, but after the death of his beloved son, Enzo lost all interest in his company and cars. It wouldn't be wrong to say that his dream of building a remarkable sports car had died to some extent with his son's demise. Dino's death wasn't the only problem that Ferrari faced. He was also trapped in some legal issues and couldn't think of any way to escape them. He secluded himself and detached himself from the company matters. Many of Enzo Ferrari's best racing drivers met an unfortunate fate of accidents and car crashes. In fact, 7 of the Formula One racing cars were completely ruined. The World Championship winner Alberto Ascari was also killed in a test session in Monza. Similarly, another best driver, Alfonso de Portage, lost his life in the awful Mille Miglia crash, along with his co-driver and 10 people who were bystanders. In the same year, Luigi Musso died on the Reims circuit, and Peter Collins' car also crashed in the Nürburgring. The unfortunate fate did not leave Ferrari. Rather, it continued following it and took the life of Lorenzo Badini in the car crash in Monte Carlo. The series of accidents and death of the remarkable racers did not go unnoticed by the Italian elites. They accused Enzo Ferrari of being selfish and not caring about his driver's death. People also said that he only cared about his fame and money, and that the death of his drivers did not bother him. Thus, the death of Scuderia Ferrari drivers in Italy led to a legal case of murder. So Enzo Ferrari, who was once living the life of his dream, was trapped in personal and corporate turmoil. The loss of his son, the death of his drivers, car crashes, and legal matters made him further isolated from his companies. He was on the verge of killing his brand due to his isolation, but his wife, Laura Dominica, took matters into her own hand. Now, was Laura able to revive the Ferrari company or make matters worse? Continue watching to find out. Laura Dominica takes matters into her hands. With things getting uglier and uglier for Enzo on the personal and professional front, his devoted wife decided to take the reins of matters into her hands and restore the valor and fame of her husband's company, Ferrari. Laura Dominica would roam the factory and the workshops to overview everything and how things were going. The employees and engineers found Laura to be an ignorant woman with high standards. She held no respect or regard for people working for her husband's company. At times, she even became harsh and rude with the employees and did not cease to humiliate them in front of other colleagues. The employees were sick and tired of Laura's constant bashing and verbal abuse. Employees' morale plummeted, and they hated to work for Laura, especially when she had no knowledge or experience in engineering or management. Working at Ferrari had become a nightmare for all the employees, and in particular for the sales manager Girolamo Gardini. He was the most abused and humiliated by Laura. She would nitpick everything about him, scream and insult him in front of his colleagues. The reason why Laura was after Gardini was because of the plummeting sales of Ferrari. She held Gardini responsible for the slump. When Gardini had enough, he decided to talk to the owner of the company, i.e., Enzo Ferrari. Gardini complained about Laura's misbehavior with employees and demanded that she is removed from the managerial position. Gardini also told Enzo that he would quit if Laura is not removed. Enzo chose his wife over the sales manager, but it came quite as a surprise to the employees. However, many important employees stood up against the injustice and verbal abuse of Laura Ferrari. Some prominent figures were Chiti, Bazzarini, Davoni, and other managerial employees. They sought help from a lawyer and opposed the decision of Enzo to fire the sales manager, Gardini. It was a huge step, and other junior employees were in awe of the courage of the 8 people that stood up against their boss, Enzo. The employees called the situation the Great Walkout, as some prominent and important people of the company left. So Laura Ferrari did not prove to be much help. In fact, she further deteriorated the husband's already limping company. So what happened after the Great Walkout? How did the company survive without its best employees? The aftermath of the Great Walkout. The 8 key employees of the company parted ways with Ferrari. Driven with anger and injustice towards Enzo, they decided to establish their own sports car. Their mission was to create a competitor for Ferrari and seek revenge. And so, the Automobile Turismo eSport came into being. The founders of ATS were Carlo Chiti and the fired sales manager Gardini. They wanted to compete with Ferrari and avenge themselves for the injustice. The founders decided the best version of the first ATS Formula car. Its features included a thin bodywork, a super powerful 1500cc V8 engine, advanced suspension, and many other remarkable attributes. Despite having a remarkable team and design, ATS couldn't last long. Several problems forced the company to go from the market. You must be thinking that the poor founding members were once again back to square one, right? However, that did not happen. One of the founding members, Bizzarini, went with Lamborghini. The other partner, Chiti, built Alto Delta, and the former Ferrari engineer and worked with Alfa Romeo. But wait a minute, ATS did not vanish from the market. In 2017, ATS made a comeback with a bang. It unveiled its first supercar at the 2017 Salon Privé Automotive Festival. The objective of the ATS was the same: to become Ferrari's rival. So what happened to Ferrari? After the walkout of its expert engineers and managers, did Enzo sell it to someone or come back in the game to lift the falling company? Let us take a look. The revival of the company. Enzo's isolation from the company resulted in sales downfall, tarnishing public image, and a lack of capable managers. The first thing Enzo did to strengthen his company was to hire a professional team. he needed skilled engineers and competent managers to restore the vigor and valor of Ferrari in the market. Enzo hired young Italian engineers and managers for this purpose. After a few years, Ferrari reclaimed the position it once had in the market. It launched a new Ferrari 250 GTO car worth around $38 million. The launch of the new car opened another chapter of success for Ferrari. It won the Sports Car Championship consecutively for 3 consecutive years, and today, Ferrari is one of the most luxurious car brands in the automotive industry across the globe. The cars manufactured by Ferrari have the standard for many car manufacturers to meet or beat. The dazzling red Ferrari with a prancing horse logo is a sign of richness and luxury. Many celebrities and powerful personalities across the globe own Ferraris. Some renowned celebrities that own Ferrari include Paris Hilton, Ashton Kutcher, Lindsay Lohan, Kim Kardashian, Justin Bieber, etc.